1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty. Count 2, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Greg McMichael, guilty. Count 3, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, William R. Bryan, guilty.
Good evening, black people and all allies fighting for black liberation, black prosperity, and black joy. I'm Charles Blow, and welcome to Prime. Guilty verdicts have been handed down to the 3 white men on trial for the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Bryan were found guilty on 23 of the 27 charges related to the death of Arbery, and each faces the possibility of life without parole. Following the verdict, the defense answered yes to whether or not they would appeal the ruling, in which they also expressed disappointment.
This is a very difficult day for Travis McMichael and Greg McMichael. These are 2 men who honestly believed that what they were doing was the right thing to do. However, the Glenn County jury has spoken. They have found them guilty, and they will be sentenced. And that is a very disappointing and sad verdict.
While the 3 offenders have been convicted on state charges, they still face federal hate crime charges from the Department of Justice. The primary focus of those charges will be the role of race and what role that played in the offender's pursuit and murder of Arbery. Georgia law contained no hate crime statute at the time that Arbery was murdered. But today, as the guilty verdicts were announced, crowds of supporters and activists and clergy members celebrated outside the courthouse. They were joined by the mother of Ahmaud Arbery, who expressed solace in that she now felt her son was at peace.
Thank you, God.
Yes, Lord.
Thank you. And now Quez, which you know him as Ahmaud, I know him as Quez.
Yes.
He will now rest in peace.
Yes.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joining us to discuss the verdict and the upcoming federal case are Rainbow Push Coalition Chairwoman CK Hoffler and attorney Gary Casimir. Gary, I'll start with you. What was your take on the actual verdicts today? Almost all of them guilty. A couple of them they're found not guilty on. What was your takeaway?
Well, I actually think that today was a good day. As the father of Ahmaud said today, I think, justice seems to have ebb and flows, and today it flowed rightfully in the direction of justice. The convictions today, I think, were on all counts were appropriate. The felony murder charge for every defendant in the case. The felony charge is in reference to the fact that they were not the shooters, but they were engaged in a felony, and it resulted in a death. And this statute is often used for, let's say, the runaway driver. So the convictions here were solid. I thought the prosecution did a good case. Race did not necessarily play a role in the prosecution's case in making it, which simply says that this was wrong on all levels and all in terms of all impressions, that this kind of behavior cannot be permitted. I believe the convictions here speak loudly to the idea that vigilantism or self-police or civil citizens arrest based on not even seeing a crime should never been permitted in this country.
CK, the defense said that they're going to appeal. On what grounds would they appeal, and how strong do you think that appeal would be?
I think they will more than likely, Charles, appeal on the grounds that they feel, because remember, they filed all these motions for a mistrial, for having black ministers in the courtroom, having obstruction outside. And frankly, I don't think that those will go anywhere. The judge was completely on solid ground legally in ruling against those motions, and quite frankly, they were frivolous in my impression. However, where there might be some traction really could be as it relates to the jury instructions. While I don't think that they have strong grounds to appeal the jury instructions, a lot of times that is fertile ground for an appeal. But please understand, Charles, they were going to appeal anything and everything because they lost. That's the way it works, particularly in criminal cases when life and liberty are at stake. And that is so the fact that they're going to appeal, I would have been stunned if they said they weren't going to appeal. I would have fallen out actually in my chair if they said they weren't going to appeal, because that is par for the course. But I don't think that there will be traction. And we just must remember, no matter what happens on any appeal or not, there's a federal hate crime case that comes right behind it.
Gary, let's talk about that federal hate crime case and also the civil case filed by the family. As you mentioned before, the prosecution in this case did not lean heavily on the racial aspect of it, but the federal case must do precisely that. They must prove that race was a motivator in that case. And just talk to us about the different kinds of evidence that could be and will be allowed to come into both the civil case and the federal hate crimes case that we may not have seen in this particular case.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting and very compelling that under the federal hate crime statute, they will be able to establish that race was the motivation behind what happened here, that the idea of pursuing Ahmaud Arbery was because of the color of his skin, because he was a black man jogging in their community. That was the reason why they were pursuing him. They had not seen any crime take place here, Charles. They had not witnessed anything. In fact, it was preposterous to watch the defense put on a case that said he had seen a video or heard, I'm sorry, not seen, but heard of a video where a man who resembled Arbery was seen in the video by someone else. And that was the basis for his approach. This is absolutely absurd. The basis for his approach was he was a black man in their community. So outrightly in the federal hate crimes charge that's going to be leveled against these defendants, and there will be mention of race. There will be mention of whether or not these two have a history, or these three men, or any of them have a history of racial animus. I understand that one of them flies a Confederate flag on his truck. That may come out here as well and be used against the defendants as an indication that this was racially motivated. What we did not see in the state case, and I think she did an excellent job of sticking to the facts of they had no justification for pursuing him, no justification for false imprisoning him, no justification for fighting back when he tried to get away from them. In the other case, they're going to be able to demonstrate that the entire pursuit and chase and stop and eventual death was simply based on the hatred and animus of the color of Ahmaud Arbery's skin. And I think that's going to be powerful testimony.
CK, some people have noted the fact that the prosecution in the state case here did not lean heavily into race, and that might have been a really smart strategy because there are 11 white people on that jury. But if you get a federal case that is about race, it probably will draw, at least my understanding, draws from the same kind of region. You may still have that imbalance on the jury. Do you think that some way that could backfire and not make that case turn out as well, because race now has to be central in the federal case?
Now, I think, when you try hate crime cases, and this is a federal hate crime case, of course, you have to, it's the underlying crime, which in this case would be murder, kidnapping, all of those things, aggravated assault, plus bias. So things such as, in this case, the prosecutor did say she just dropped it. And for us, it was like dropping the mic. This happened to Ahmaud Arbery because he was a black man. And she paused. And then she went on to something else. No explanation. The reason why I think she did that, yes, she was playing to her audience of 12, of 11 white folks and one black person. But also, race permeated throughout the entire case without saying a single word about race. We all knew it. We all sensed it. We could smell it. We could feel it. She didn't need to say it. She didn't need to dwell on it. She just basically made that statement and boom, dropped it, and that was it. In the federal case, it's the same approach with the because they do have to go through the underlying traditional crimes, but adding that the motivation is biased, as was stated earlier. The bias based on race. And the fact, I would start with that 911 call. Because in the 911 call, when the woman said, "Can I help you? How can I help you?" He said, "There's a black man running." He didn't say anything else about it. There's a black man running. That's number one. I also saw some footage that this jury
Right.
did not see, Charles. And in that footage, it showed Greg McMichael with blood on his hands. This is right after the event. He's talking as if he was just like at a country club or something like that, going through, actually almost bragging. He said, "You know, I got my gun here because, you know, actually I've had it for a while and I carry a permit. And, you know, I used to work for the DA." He is going through as if nothing happened. And in the background was
Right.
just tore my heart apart, was Ahmaud Arbery's
Right.
body covered by a sheet. So you see, they need to feel what's coming to them in the hate crime case, because it's important for the world to understand hate crimes are impermissible and they are just as valid
Right.
as the other crimes.
Yeah, and Charles, can I
Gary, I
just
have
add
about a
one
minute
thing?
left. Yeah, I just want to get this question in. What you can answer that as well. But you know, have about a minute left here. I just want to say this about hate crimes. It is one thing to say these men ran into this man and he was alive, and then when they left, he was dead, and they had no reason to do that. Hate crimes require you to get into a person's head and try to examine their motive. It's not just about that they are callous, right? So it feels to me like the bar is a bit higher unless they articulate in the commission of the crime that they are doing it out of hate. Do you believe that the federal government will have enough evidence to prove that they were doing it out of hate, and that they have evidence that somehow they're articulated in the commission of the crime?
I do believe that they will have sufficient evidence for this reason. It's my understanding there's a whole body of evidence that we have not seen that points to that. There's racial animus. There's the use of derogatory terminology against black folks. All of those things. And so I do believe the bar is different,
Right.
but I think they will have the evidence to prove it.
Yeah, I agree
Gary,
with that.
jump in on that before they run me off of this segment.
No problem. I agree with that. And I just want to say one very good important thing, that we say the prosecution didn't use race, but the defense attorneys implied it with their nasty comments about dehumanizing this man, mentioning dirty toenails and wearing no socks and not asking for help, as if a black man needs to ask for help because he's jogging on the street and as opposed to standing his ground. I think, we mentioned that race would play a part in the state trial, but it did for the defense and it did not work. So today was a good thing.
Right. Gary Casimir and CK Hoffler, thanks for joining me tonight. And it doesn't matter the condition of your toenails, you still do not deserve to be shot in the street.